So, um, originally from Panama, Central America. And I always give the introduction because nobody will tell where I'm from anytime I'm before any stage. So I regularly like to start saying where I am from. So today I'm traveling, I'm living for many years in Ontario, in Toronto. I've been working for many years with youth. So this is something that is very close to me, to my heart, because youth, um, in the past, professional life, I worked in business in the for-profit organization and world. Then I decided to change my career and started working in non-for-profit. And specifically, I started working with youth, 16 to 24 years of age. That was the age group that I worked for. So it's been a while, but after being from working, I graduated in management. So I wasn't that engaged with youth. So this presentation warms my heart because it brings back good memories of when I was working day to day with youth. So I'm so pleased to be here. And I'm also honored to have my husband around, which is the first time that he's really, with the first time that he is me have a presentation. Usually he was missing me these days. So it's something nice. I also want to say that thanks to the technology, I have people from in my native country watching it virtually. And our teacher is part next in Ontario in Toronto around it, who is online or phone. He has been watching from since 9 o'clock. He has been before that. He is 25 years old, 26 years old. So he needs to know what's happening. And since he wasn't able to come, he is watching virtually. And I have another person that is watching from Panama. His name is Erubey Calvo. He is watching. So I just want to bring myself out that he is also online. And during this presentation, I would also include a video that you would like and you would enjoy very much. And it is from a youth leader from Panama that is also doing a lot of work that it relates to community engagement. So today would be a very active day, and I am looking forward to have you bring some of the presentation, every one of you. So I'm going to have people moving. Because I'm from Latin America, plus my black heritage, we like to love, we like to have fun. We are people that like to have no moving. So you will have to be moving. I'm not going to go and work today. And I noticed that you are very intuitive. You were listening carefully to the presentation. So now it will be your time to present because I'll make you present with 10 pounds. So I'll start the presentation with the agenda, which is the introduction activities that you will be in charge of doing. We will have a discussion around immigrant youth and community engagement. Then we will have a video presentation, a very short video, just to give some examples about community engagement. And I think you will enjoy this. Some takeaways, question and answers, and at the end, my thank yous. So you can have the other slide, please. So the introduction. In Canada, just over 1 in 10 recent immigrants were youth and young adults aged 15 to 24, which represents 10.9% of the population. By the 64 ways, 2% were in the core working age group of 24 to 64 years of age. A smaller proportion of recent immigrants, or 3.6%, were aged 55 to 74%. And this comes from Statistics Canada. So that means that the most amount of population of immigrants are youth, 64.2%. So youth is considered anyone between ages of 15 to 30 years of age. So that is what we consider in Canada as a youth population. Who are younger, absolutely after 30 years of age. What is considered youth population in terms of programs and services available for those considered youth or up to 30 years of age. And youth community and engagement are independent words which combine will create a force of advancements and change in our society. During this presentation, we will touch upon how these two words, youth and community engagement, and there's not two words, three words actually. Youth community engagement, how they relate and interact with each other. Okay, so the others, we would be working in groups, so I would be trying out some speaking in groups. We would respond to some questions and have some discussions. Those who are joining in online, you would also put their questions and their responses in the chat box, and we will be able to address them. Oh, it's raised here. We will be able to address. So once you receive more curiosity, each person, then we will have the discussion in terms of these two questions. So please receive two artistic each person so you can jot down your responses and where you have discussions. Okay, so we are passing them on. And we'll use some time to respond. So in groups, you will be discovering their definition about some word engagement. The first question, according to you, which would be your definition of community engagement? And the second question would be, how important do you think it is to get immigrant youth actively involved in their communities and why? So I will allow 5 minutes to have this person to respond to these two questions. Okay, so the first question would be your definition of community engagement, and you can have the discussion amongst their peers at the table. And the second question would be how important do you think it is to get immigrant youth actively involved in their communities in life? So I will allow 2 minutes for this group discussion. And those who are joining online, you are also able to include their responses in the chat box and we will be looking at all them. So wait for weeks. Wrap up now. And anyone who wants to share their response for the first question, your definition of community engagement. Anyone want to volunteer? Our responses are good responses, so don't worry. Anyone volunteer to share their response? So the first one, which is definition and community engagement. Okay. You want to check the audience? First one, honest, that's new.
So what we put is two different answers. One is community engagement is involvement and participation of individuals in to help move forward or progress like the environment in which they live. And then another answer was the fact that community engagement can do with the governing power of that community, creating space, services, and opportunities for the members of that community to be able to network, grow, and develop fundamental skills that can then be applied into the community in order to further develop the community.
Very good. Very thorough. Thank you. Any other question? Any other response to the question? For the first one? If you want to join me here.
Yeah.
The first one. Community.
Okay, so community engagement is the collaborative participation and involvement of people also similar in race, demographic to contribute to the welfare of the community.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you. It is the engagement of people of the same nature or the same background for the well-being of the community. That was a very good answer. The final one, or you want to do first? One that this way so those back home can relate. Yeah.
Well, thank you. Also, we spoke about community engagement, giving someone a sense of belonging. So when you're in the place with people that you share the same value, same faith, same opinion with, it helps you, it reaches you, it helps you with your like all aspects of your life, and then you can easily ask for help because you're building relationship with people. Thank you.
Excellent. People that share the same, bring the same values and want to share the funds.
Mine is a simple one.
Let's still provide that.
Yeah, community engagement is deliberate involvement. That's important. Working with others in one's immediate environment, the aim of making economic value to the community.
Wonderful. Thank you. All of these responses were completely valid. They are what community engagement is all about. Community engagement is the sum of personal people that come together with personal relationship or that relate to each other. They come, they look into what they can contribute to the betterment of their community and the society that they live in. And it brings together all the definitions that you shared with us today. So according to the United Nations, community engagement is a strategic process to directly involve local populations in adopting decision making, policy development, and implementation to strengthen local ownership capacities and community structures, as well as to improve transparency, accountability, and resource allocations around diverse settings. So it also brings what you presented. People have the same ideas come together and those strategies come up with ideas to bring and to better their communities. Youth community engagement is absolutely necessary because it allows youth to create the space where they are seeing things to improve in their community, in their society. They come together, they bring like minded individuals Rather, trying to present what they have and what they want to improve to find solutions in their communities. So I will to just take pause now to look into definitely what youth engagement in community. Youth engagement in communities and development, young people are involved in responsible, challenging actions to create positive social change. In other words, youth engagement in the community happens when they are planning and making decisions that affect themselves and others. And according to their own definitions, that is what youth community engagement is all about. Coming together with members of the civil society to bring change, things that happen. One of the conversations I had a few weeks ago in terms of youth and their involvement in the community, especially in times like now, especially in times when we have social media, we have youth who are taking active role in their society. We have youth who are being leaders, who are being um, who are participating actively in the society. We want to have the encouragement of youth to make more decisions in what is happening in their society. When we touch upon immigrant youth, though, you have a different conversation because immigrant youth, besides they are new to the country, they have a different perspective of how to improve because they have different visions of other places. So when they come to an environment, they have value and they have things to support to bring change and to strive to develop the area that we live in. Usually, when immigrant youth come to a new society, they are influenced by their parents because of their expectations of them. They have to work, they have to study, they have to do a lot of things. Sometimes they don't have the time to relate to their communities. What we want now is to offer youth balance where they can have time to work, to study, to relate to their communities, and to understand that they have a voice and their important context and they bring a lot of value to the area where they live. Some of the things that youth might find challenging, especially when they are immigrant youth, is the fact that perhaps language is a barrier. They might feel, I can't express myself. I don't have the network. I don't know the society. I don't know what they are expecting from me. So who I can contribute? There is a lot of things that I think that one can contribute to regarding to the society. They can come and form and join and can get into aspects of they can start from school. They can look into things where they can have value and they can support and make change. And I'll go back to the second question that we had. If you can just go back to our the second question. Why it is immigrant youth and consider the importance to be part of community engagement? And I think you have that next question. And let's go back to the second question. Anyone wants to volunteer to respond to the second question?
Mine is so simple. Okay. It's important for people graduates to be actively involved in the community for the following reasons. One, it's themselves to conform to the tenets and culture of the community. Number two, for adaptation, because that's a learning. Number three, to learn and available opportunities. And number four, grow the community, whereby adding value to the community they want to come to another benefit for those two. Then to build the capacity building.
Thank you very much. That was an excellent response of why it's important for youth. Because here, they have value. And so here, populations. Okay, I have one online. This one here.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have a person online that says, I believe that it is very important because it helps break barriers and overcoming prejudice, which also is very important because when you are a young, a youth in a new society, the others that sees and remove us from that society have different concepts about where you are from, who you are. So definitely that coming from the personal lane really touch upon the prejudice part of what others might perceive or think about you without knowing who you really are. So that if they be engaged in the community, you can break that prejudice and that barrier. There's another response.
So youth engagement in community is very important for the purpose of what speakers have been saying so far, networking, when you meet new people and get important quality people as your network. Also for making friendships, because if you are new to the environment, you need to make friends. And for relationships and also for cultural integration.
Thank you. Absolutely. Making friends, cultural integration. Sometimes a school is not the best means that you are making friends. Sometimes it's within their community. It's where you make some strong bond and friendship. So the response was absolutely spot on because definitely you engage in your community where you live, where you spend most of your time. It encourages you to network, to have friends, speak about things that it take you away from school because you are looking into aspects that you really want to progress in and you want your community to succeed. So that is very, very important when you are engaged in their communities. There are three main types of community engagement, and this definition or these types of community engagement, I took it from Marriott, and she is a doctorate dissertation. She presented of so many different community engagement that existed. They had around 16. There another scholar talk about eight, but she brought together three main types of community engagement, which are the informative participation, the preparatory participation, and the decision-making participation. The informative participation is when you gather your community, you have people that come together and say, okay, let's plan such and such event. They're going to inform. Let's say, oh, this can be done. We are informing such thing is not working well in the community. What can we do to get it, to improve on such activity? The preparatory is okay, let's prepare, let's plan how it is we are going to improve our community. And the third is the decision making. We will decide to do such and such. Let's go to the city councilor, let's go to this member of parliament, let's go with the healthcare system, let's we get this done because we have to enroll in parks, we don't have place to pay, we don't have a community center. So those are the things that use what fall up with they need to get done. So these were the three main types of community engagement that are presented when you are making a decision to have some change in your environment. The benefits immigrant youth engagement, and some of their responses to the benefits. It will be immigrant youth community engagement benefit like in skills. And you mentioned that knowledge, self-esteem, and being connected in what is happening in your environment, in your community. The benefit also by acquiring the sense of belonging. And you are youth, like you are, your friends and their relatives behind, and you are in a new environment, you like don't feel as you belong. But think like including yourself and being participant of some community and you are engaged in that community, it also improve sense of belonging, it improve their leadership skills, and we learn about the leadership um, skills from the previous presenter. So it often will bring that leadership skills. And and as one of your responses where you are relating with like 90 individuals collaborating in a project that will benefit their community. It also helps you to learn to have a voice, to know when something is not working well, to know areas of improvement within your community, to have a voice to speak about these changes. It helps you advocate and to make changes in policies. Now, I'm going to do a pause here, changes in policies, because this is something that really resonates. Many times, youth, especially youth, black youth, they are not representative of the policies and the changes the government have because they don't go second hard, they don't go to electoral service, meaning they don't even know who are members of their parliament who are the city councillors. And if we don't have representation, especially in black youth, especially in youth of color, policies will not change, will not benefit us as society. You guys are the future. You have to be present in when we have with the policy makers in order to gain that um, regain the power, make change to your society, to your communities. If you don't attend these meetings, if you are not part, you don't make friends, you don't volunteer, and be old, be old and outspoken, then you will not receive change that you want and deserve for your communities. Learning to make changes in policies doesn't mean that we rule our close streets and those schools that we call it make you be aware of what's happening in terms of policies that influence and make and have you to that make you not be represented in terms of the politicians, the laws that are being created. I'm going to go back to something that affects all of us, the Employment Standard Act. I don't know if you have heard about Employment Standard Act. The Employment Standard Act is a group of policies that are federal regulated in which it presents the different rules that govern how employers should treat everyone in the workplace. Well, last year there was a revision of the Employment Standard Act in Canada. And Tropicana from Legal Services, together with other three intermediaries across Canada, one in Nova Scotia, one in Alberta, and one in Quebec, came together and had a revision and independent revision of the Employment Standard Act. And we had focus groups, we had representation of workers across Canada. We did it in the lens of black workers. We had black workers that from the LGBTQ community, we have black workers in the community, we have black women, men, we have the works in the private sector, public sector, representation with these focus groups. While we had that revision, the lead consultant present the findings, we had the presentation of the findings, released to the federal government. So the labor task force from the federal government. We were back in the nineties when they became standard. It was because we had some situation in terms of women didn't have the voice, the women didn't have the representation to have equal rights in the workplace. Last year, when we did the revision, that improved. Women were represented. You know, you have women that they are CEOs and they have women, working and have not the same pay as men. You still have that fight, but we realized in the finding that women progress from the first Employment Standard Act. But what we did not realize is that Black women did not get the advantage. Black women were still below as the initial Employment Standard Act. They did not progress as how they should have been progressed as white women. So what was the finding is that what we want is that Black as a community should be an independent chapter in the Employment Standard Act because it gives more focus on supporting the Black population, especially Black women, to be represented, to be acknowledged, to be respected, and to receive equal opportunities as their other counterparts. So if we as the Black communities, Black youth are not attending these engagements, we are not aware of their existence, then we don't have a voice to make change. And that is all is community engagement. We need to have a voice to make change, to be curious, to have critical thinking, to acknowledge when things need to change, and to also recognize when you are wrong. Because sometimes you might be an activist, you might want things changed, but it's not the right moment. But you at least you know what you have in your community and what needs to change and what needs improvement. So the other aspect of the benefit of immigrant youth in community engagement, there are opportunities for growth, scholarships, and grants. When you are engaging your community, many times these engagements help you to boost and to complete your application for grants, to receive scholarships and grants and entrance to universities. It's not only academics. You also need to demonstrate how it is you're involved in your community, what else you are doing besides education that demonstrates your character and your knowledge in the environment that you are living in. Okay. So we are going to look into some messages. Okay, I have a message from Edway. How can communities ensure that immigrant youth feel welcome and included? That is a wonderful question, and perhaps you might have that same question. How communities ensure that immigrant youth feel welcome and included? Many communities, depending on the region that we belong to, have ways to have community organizations such as Tropicana. Tropicana usually have a 70% youth population that attend our services. We have community organizations, we have churches, we have community services, such as run by the municipal government. There are different ways how youth can feel engaged in their communities, and they must look into those. You have different school activities also trying to engage youth, and we also have, for example, after school classes that engage youth, and groups such as this one, leadership groups from your church, that would include leadership events that bring together youth and help them voice their opinion and get the tools, the academic tools, the knowledge of how they can engage in their communities. So I don't have any other questions so far. So continuing, we have among some examples of community engagement. Among the many different forms of community engagement, these are a few. Volunteer at your local food bank, animal shelters or homeless shelters, maintaining a community garden, participating in a blood drive. There are sometimes donations for blood, helping set up local farmer markets, advocating for others, creating support group in your communities. A simple thing, especially in this province that knows, helping the seniors shovel some snow. That is part of engaging in the community, because that senior will say, okay, Mary, she comes usually, and she's a very active person because she looks out for her seniors in the community, and that one senior will tell others, and your name would be there out as a leader supporting the senior population that sometimes are very much abandoned. So that is part of community engagement. The other example that I have here, volunteering in municipal events. When they have voting, you volunteer, you do some canvassing for any political party, you might volunteer, and knock doors, people start to get to know you. And they say, oh, I know this young person, they have been volunteering with such political party, but at least they get to know you, that you are active in the community. Attending city council meetings, as I mentioned, go to your mayor's city council meetings and have to listen to what they are saying, learn the language that they use, hear what policies they want to change or what they're advocating about. So these are very good examples of you being active there. We have to have representation, and again, we have to have Black representation so we can get change. From being involved in city, provincial, and federal town hall meetings, attending and participating in school board meetings, voting in local elections. And when you have the age of voting or the capacity to vote, that is also part of being engaged in your community. If you don't vote, you cannot expect change. So that is also very important. Through community engagement, in general, youth can build and sustain cohesive communities and help their local governments better serve their needs. Additionally, community engagement can lead to improved outcomes for the unprivileged and the representative members of your community, and it is a driving factor for transformation. Again, we are in our communities, we better know the things that need improvement. We better know what need to change. So by being that voice, we are able to be engaged in our community and strive for change. Okay. So next, I have a video that would give some examples in a more vivid way of how community engagement can impact your life and impact the lives of others. The video is from Opal Benkasa Jones. She's my niece, and I learned a lot from her about community engagement. She is a cultural policy and researcher in Panama. She has a Bachelor of Fine Arts, Management, and Public Policies with emphasis in culture, gender, youth, and people of African descent. She's a Master in Cultural Policy, and she was recognized in 2021 as an influential Afro-Panamanian youth. So I will leave you with this video so you can see some examples of what she did during the pandemic as a community activist and involved in the community.
Hi everyone, my name is Migdalia. I am a cultural policies specialist and researcher, and I started in this path as a cultural activist in my country, Panama. Today, I stand before you virtually as a young leader with a passionate vision for community youth empowerment, particularly for immigrants. Our world is becoming more interconnected than ever before, and it's our responsibility to create inclusive spaces where every young, regardless of our background, can thrive. As a community, we must recognize the unique challenges faced by immigrant youth. We often encounter language barriers, cultural differences, and a sense of alienation. But let's not forget that our diversity is an asset that can enrich our community in unimaginable ways. Empowering immigrant youth starts with education and mentorship. Let's establish programs that provide language classes, academic support, and mentorship opportunities. By investing in our growth, we nurture future leaders who will contribute positively to society. Furthermore, let's create safe spaces for dialogue and understanding where young people from all backgrounds can come together to celebrate diversity and promote social and cultural cohesion. Through arts, sports, and other collaborative activities, we can build bridges that transcend borders. Equally important is ensuring access to economic opportunities by supporting young immigrant entrepreneurs. We enable them to establish businesses that not only sustain themselves, but also contribute to the economic growth of our communities. Advocacy is vital. As young leaders, let's stand up for policies that protect the rights of immigrant youth and facilitate our integration into our society. Together, we can dismantle barriers, discrimination, racism, and promote equality. It's our responsibility to create a vibrant, diverse, and resilient community that will flourish for generations to come. Thank you.
They were delivering food because people didn't have what to eat. So among other youth, they came together and they delivered. And I was so worried because we didn't know anything about the pandemic. I said, oh, this child, she's going to die. She's going to die because we didn't know anything about COVID. So it was scary. She left home every day. She left home and she said, there are many people in the community that don't have what to eat. So we would be out there, we would work, we would be distributing bags to the houses, every house they want, and travel across the country. Even we have around 7 indigenous tribes. So she went to the tribes and distribute bags because everything was shut down. They didn't have where to eat. So that was one of the things. The other thing that she does is to advocate because in Latin America, the voice of Black youth is just coming out now. So as a Black youth, she is working towards advocating for people to acknowledge and recognize and accept their identity as Black youth. So those are the examples of things that she does as a community activist. So it's very compelling and very humbling to see as a young person what she has accomplished, and I wanted to share that with you today. So takeaways, what we will be taking away today: immigrant youth community engagement matters. You matter, you have ideas, you have knowledge, you have a vision, you know what you want. The idea of you coming to this country, how you want to improve, those are the things that you have and their talents. They have to be there. The advocacy as youth. And I heard someone here say that they work with children and youth. You are their example. You are the one that wants these youngsters to strive to be better. So that is the importance of youth in the community and their engagement. Improve a community skills on problem solving and looking at a situation from multiple sides to find the best solution. Empower and unite people with different backgrounds by providing a common ground for people to work towards common goals. Create local networks and an atmosphere where ongoing discussions can be held. Increase trust between community organizations and local government, and also trust yourself within the community. And technology, by knowing technology, by including technology in your community engagement is also very important and pivotal in bringing together the community. Um, we have the everyday and new technologies coming along. So having that engagement is also, and having that knowledge is also important. And at the end, you matter. You are valued and you belong. As a youth, as an immigrant, you belong in the society and your word and your work is valued. So there's any questions? Oh yeah. Okay. What role can technology play in empowering immigrant youth in their community engagement? Okay, so in answering that question is bringing youth together. Same how I presented that video of my niece that back in a different part of the world is in community engagement, technology can bring her here, have her present, and you can connect with her thanks to LinkedIn, thanks to Twitter, thanks to Instagram. This is the way how technology bring youth community engagement together and also empower youth to strive and to make change. TikTok is not only to see those dogs jumping and dress up in clothes. TikTok should be also be used to empower you to learn from what others are doing in other parts of the world and bringing it towards what it is you want and hearing what is happening in the world. Streaming right now, this is part of technology. Streaming while we are here in Winnipeg, people from Nigeria can get access to learn and to know what we are doing here and use this knowledge to empower themselves back in their countries. So technology plays a vital role. We are hearing a lot about artificial intelligence and what that would look like. That is also part of technology. And I want to be so very, and it's not part of my conversation, but we have to be very careful in terms of learning and reading from good source what the information is coming from, because on over the internet you get source from everywhere that not necessarily there are the valuable ones. We have to just be very vigilant to get information from proper source that we obtain that knowledge. Artificial intelligence also may not represent our population because who is behind the artificial intelligence not necessarily are people that look like us in this room. So we as people from the Black community have to make sure that we are part of the understanding, the knowledge, the development of artificial intelligence. So we can be represented there as well. So this is just a little bit of example of how technology supports youth and supports the work that youth might want to do in terms of engaging in their communities. Any question? I think we want lunch. Here's a question.
Oh, it's not really a question. So I feel like as Black community and Black young youth, we kind of need help from the adult. Because one thing I noticed is in a place like Winnipeg, you see where even as Black, we kind of discriminate each other. You see a Black where we just like walk past and we really don't care and whatever. And even for the adults, you talk to some people and you realize they really don't care, even if they're people of the same color, we're the same country. But I just feel like they should know that we're in a country where maybe our parents are not here, and we see these people as a reminder of who we are and our culture, not to forget where we are coming from. Because you see a lot of youth here, they came to Canada and, godly kids, very intelligent, but because their parents are not here, they are something else. But because the youth are not even like the adults, some adults are not allowing us to kind of engage and talk to them, we kind of miss the way. So I feel like we should create that awareness for us to be more involved in our community as Black people. The adults should like engage with us and allow us to like express ourselves. They should give it to them.
Totally agree. Totally agree. And that where one of the participants said that we should have something for the adults as well. I think you said that the adults, and I agree. I said yes. Because mentoring our youth is something that we need to continue. During these days at work, they talk about succession planning. And I was like, yes, I want to retire. I'm tired. I want this to done. But it's true. We have to give the opportunity to the youth to continue, and we have to be the example. The older, the adults, have to be the example to support the youth and to give them the opportunity to mentor them, to advocate for youth and to support them. If we are not the ones supporting you, then who will do it? So definitely, I think, and I totally agree that adults should set the example. We cannot sit back and say, oh, those young people, they're lost, oh, we don't know, my generation was better. But no, our generations were the same. The only thing this generation is more public because in the past generation, we didn't have social media to expose the amount of things that happened. So therefore, I really and truly approve and agree that adults supposed to work together with youth and empower them to be successful.
Can we please stand up and give a speech ovation? Wow, this is powerful. You may not know the value of what you are getting today, but I can assure you it will always ring in our ears. And when it's time to use it, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
We appreciate you.
My honor.